Well, yippee-ki-yay, Musey lovers, and welcome back. We are on part 3 of our latest mini-series. It might be the end if I timed it out right, but let's get back into the insanity. If you haven't listened to 1 and 2, this is my scariest 911 call happened on my first night, part 3. And away we go in 5, 4, 3, 2. Like a deer in the headlights, Abby stared at the screen but couldn't utter a word. Paleness permeated her face.
Help me. Help me.
The woman said. The call ended before she could even finish, as if the woman's life support had been unplugged in one merciless pull. Miss Wilder didn't wait to break the silence, but her terrible acting couldn't hide how much these last few calls had even unsettled her. Okay, that was good, Abby, she said. She was shuttling us through this lingering fear like cattle. She herded in the next trainee. Catherine, it's your turn. Battling both the goosebumps and the cold, I folded my arms. I decided to speak just to get my mind off those disturbing replays, to get the static out of my head. Miss Wilder, what do we do in situations like that? I asked. Like when it's the same caller bugging us over and over? Miss Wilder gave me a dismissive wave. Oh, it's just prank callers. We get a bunch of them. Catherine sat at the laptop. Immediately, another call came roaring right in. After checking the number, Miss Wilder flashed an excited smile. All right, this one's different, she said. Kelly let out a sigh of relief. Whew, thank God. You and me both, girl, Tanaya said. Catherine took the call. But the static dashed our safety. The same static. All the intense white noise lent us even more chills in this cold classroom. Worried, Catherine looked to our instructors. Miss Wilder motioned toward the laptop. Just talk to them. The eerie cry was too human to be a dying animal, and too familiar as well. The woman had returned. Oh, hell no, Tanaya yelled. Like a terrified wax figure, Catherine stared at the computer, her eyes wide the hell open, her mouth too paralyzed to even scream. The constant static and scrambling soundscape drifted around our atmosphere throughout the entire classroom. Miss Wilder took a nervous step back. And then the woman's breathing and her voice came on the phone again.
Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me.
Right after that, the static spiraled out of control, an avalanche of sound. "Catherine, talk to her," Miss Wilder shouted. Shivering, Tanaya stood up. "How's she calling from a different number?" Her scared voice shouted, wanting answers. But we never got an answer, and Catherine never got the opening question out. A harsh bump erupted from the laptop. A vicious thud, and the phone call ended well before the woman's screams could re-emerge. Each of us were left in a horrified suspense. My eyes stayed on the computer, my body a trembling mess. I felt helpless, especially with the looming inevitability of who was going up there next. Rattled, Tanaya pointed at the computer. "Miss Wilder, who's that woman?" Like a victim in denial, Miss Wilder avoided eye contact with us. "She's just a prank caller, guys. I'm telling you." Kelly gave her a weird look. Not even she was buying this shit. Miss Wilder helped Catherine stand up. "Y'all better get used to them," Miss Wilder muttered. "That's all I'm saying." The heater had no chance of heating me up or healing my scars, especially when adrenaline now joined the fear and cold I was feeling. I kept staring at the laptop, forced to face my fate. Stuck in a catatonic state, Catherine stumbled back to her seat. The five of us now made a frightened formation. "Your turn, Krista," Miss Wilder yelled out. I sat there, hesitant, unable to console myself before the call. Miss Wilder waved me over. "Come on, it's your turn," she said. "Ain't nobody gonna hurt you." With the slow march of a child heading up for the principal's office, I walked up to the front desk. I could feel everyone's eyes glued to my every step. "You got this, girl," I heard Tanaya say. "Hey, maybe they'll hang up," Patrick said as a reassuring joke. At least they were trying to encourage me on this creepy Friday morning, but I couldn't smile. Not now. Not on my 911 Judgment Day. Kelly and Miss Wilder crowded around me as I sat in front of the laptop. I plugged in the headset. My shivering grip placed it over my ears, frightened. Now I really felt chained to the computer, to this forthcoming call. Upon facing the laptop, I felt more anxiety sink into me. So many programs were already up there. A dispatcher box, the phone line, various call taker tabs, all of which I'd seen in the books, but all of it so much scarier on the screen. Miss Wilder pointed me to the phone line icon. "Now, when that rings, just click on it to answer it," she said. "Yes, ma'am," I replied. Trying to focus, I avoided my classmates, even when they were just being supportive. Tanaya and Patrick, my constant cheerleaders. Through the burgeoning excitement, I had to wait, my skin sweating in the cold. I readjusted the headset, the mic, but I didn't have to wait long. Ring, ring. The laptop screamed to life. The telephone line icon shook with ferocity. The incoming call from a 706 number. I fought against the nerves. I had to power through it. For Julian. This is for Julian, I told myself. In one swift click, I answered it.
Columbus 911, what's the address of your emergency?
I said in a strong voice, channeling my inner Miss Wilder. Like a malfunctioning robocall, I heard the white noise static grip me. The incessant static sang out. But I didn't give up, not with Miss Wilder breathing down my neck, and with Julian depending on me back at home.
Columbus 911, what's the address of your emergency?
I said again. The static stayed steady, unsettling noises and the sound waves of the dead, it seemed. Seemingly a distress call from outer space or from beyond the grave. This can't be happening again, I heard Kelly say to Miss Wilder. Hold on, Miss Wilder told her. I kept my eyes on the screen. Further drawn in once I heard movements amongst the static, clumsy movements.
Help me.
The woman's voice crawled to me. Everyone went silent. The fear almost overpowered my own voice and strength. Almost.
Ma'am, what is the address of your emergency?
I asked. I could feel my hands clenching tight, a nervous tic well beyond my control. The footsteps again. The footsteps grew heavier in the static storm, as if the woman was mustering whatever strength she had left just for this one call.
Help me,
she said. Immersed, I leaned in closer toward the laptop.
Ma'am, help me!
The woman cried out in a painful howl. Startled, I fell back. I heard Tanaya shout in fright.
Help us!
The woman screamed into the stifling static.
Help us, please!
Like fellow asylum patients, a collection of tormented cries joined her. Female, male, agonizing screams, weakened whispers, painful sobbing, all of it poured through the line. All these people in obvious pain. All of them dying. I heard shelves collapse and the screams. More chaotic movement erupted. Their terrified panic well on display.
Help us!
An old lady yelled.
Send somebody!
A panicking man hurled at me. Their voices all grew louder and louder, with the static at an unsettling beat. Their desperate chants formed a desperate final plea. My headset shook from their sheer force.
Please help us,
A young woman whimpered. The victims' voices overlapped, fused together for this frightening frenzy. Their room of death clamored for me, and I was too scared to say a damn word, much less follow protocol.
Please help us!
The woman from earlier screamed, her voice now guttural and pouring from a wounded soul. Frightened, I pushed myself away from the keyboard. My headset tumbled right off. My hectic hands hit the touchpad, ending the call. I'd inadvertently sent us all into a suffocating silence. Breathing heavy, I stood and faced the screen. A red glow now decorated the phone line icon. The box's text read, "Call ended 1:44. 1 minute and 44 seconds of pure terror. I noticed my scared classmates watching me. Our 911 training course now transformed into a horror house. "What did you do that for?" Miss Wilder shouted in dismay, her voice a beaming defibrillator through our dead silence. Startled, I confronted her disapproving glare. "I told you, never hang up," Miss Wilder yelled. A calm Kelly stepped toward me. "Yeah, you should have followed protocol, Krista." "What is you talking about?" Tanaya shouted. I looked over at Tanaya, glad to have her on my side. Back in disciplinarian mode, Miss Wilder confronted the class. "Look, this is training. I've told y'all you're gonna get calls like this." "So?" Tanaya replied. Miss Wilder glowered at me. "And you're not supposed to hang up, Krista. Ever!" For some reason, I looked back at Kelly, knowing good and well whose side this bitch was on. "She's right," Kelly said, a stoic calmness returning to her voice. For that matter, both her and Miss Wilder were way too calm. "Wait, so this was all bullshit?" Tanaya asked. The epiphany spread amongst us. I was caught somewhere between relieved and mad as hell. "Holy shit," Patrick muttered. Miss Wilder cracked a wide, wicked smile. "And if she wasn't my instructor, or 30 years my senior, I would have punched the hell out of her right then and there." "Hey, we gotta train y'all for the crazies," Miss Wilder went on, and everyone passed except you, Krista. Controlling my temper for Julian, all I did was glare. A death glare for Miss Wilder and for Kelly. "That's so stupid, though," Tanaya yelled. "Yeah, who was making those calls?" Abby asked. Kelly stepped toward the trainees. "We got some of the call takers to do it." She motioned toward the door. "They always help us with this part." "Wow," was all I could say. I may have been able to stop myself from throwing punches, but I couldn't hide my voice's simmering anger. Chuckling, Miss Wilder patted me on the back. "Hey, it's all right. We'll redo it later." She walked toward the door. "Retake it?" I said in disgust. "Oh, yeah," Miss Wilder said. She unlocked the door. Playing deputy, Kelly looked over at me. She's serious now. Miss Wilder swung the door open. Lecturing me like a high school administrator, Kelly pointed at my face. "Now, I think you'll be fine, but next time, don't hang up on that call, all right?" I heard Miss Wilder stumble back and loud, panicking steps. Then Tanaya let out one dramatic scream. The entire class looked toward the open doorway. An ocean of blood flooded all the way down the hall, right up outside our classroom door. I could see the vivid redness stick to the floor. Like gruesome paint, blood covered the walls, even smeared over our classroom door. And there, lying in the crimson sea, was the 911 center supervisor. Her sloppy clothes now coated in both blood and deep, crude slices. Long stab wounds carved through her back and her hair. Her weight reduced in the most gory attempt at bariatric surgery. Frightened, but compelled, I rushed to the supervisor. "Oh, God," I said. The supervisor's hand still gripped her cell phone, and her last dialed number taunting me. 911 training. She'd been the one calling us all along during this crazed caller training gone wrong. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the doorknob had smeared red fingerprints. This lady had no chance of getting in, not when the door was locked, and definitely not when we were training under Miss Wilder's watch. I felt a wave of classmates whisk past me, felt Tanaya snatch my wrist to drag me away, drag me through this blood-red museum sprawling before us. "Who the hell did this?" Kelly cried through her tears. "I don't know," Miss Wilder yelled at her. "We gotta get Sergeant Fonda." Rather than following the others to the elevators, Tanaya led me through the 911 center. Patrick even followed us to the call taker room. Their morbid curiosity apparently as strong as mine. Like rain puddles, our feet splashed into overflowing crimson. The rip-roaring rhythm so hypnotic and disturbing. Upon entering the room, we came to a terrified stop. Everyone was dead, slaughtered, sliced beyond recognition. Bodies scattered about like mutilated livestock. Severed limbs in every corner. Severed heads still wearing their headsets. This call taker office, a fusion between a war zone and an operating room. Everything was covered in blood, save for the computer screens. All they showed was the last numbers dialed. 911 training. Unable to call 911, these employees had instead called the next best thing. Us. And on that final fateful call, I hadn't followed protocol. Instead, I'd hung up on a massacre in progress. And we had a code 7120. So many 7120s. And with that, we have the finale of our little Creep Fest 911 call center haunted horror show. I don't know. I mean, it is a freaky story, very scary, and I decided to share it all with you. I hope you enjoyed. Put in a little extra effort, my editors and I, so you can enjoy something fun around Thanksgiving. Don't eat this before dinner is my suggestion, but do come back real soon. I am working on a new project, trying to map it out, see if you'll hear about it when it's time. In the meantime, lovelies, have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving, or Indigenous Peoples Day, either one, or have a great Thursday. Or if you don't hear this till after Thursday, have a great week, whatever. Just have a good one. All right. Bye now. See you soon. Yippee-ki-yay, Musey lovers.